Check 1 2, check 1 2, iPhone 13 mini review.
So, a few years ago, Apple released the iPhone 12 series, which also introduced the first mini iPhone in the line. However, some people weren't too happy with it. They thought it compromised a bit too much to get down to that smaller size. A year later, Apple released the iPhone 13 mini, and while it didn't change too much about the design, all of the internals were upgraded. And so, I'm Jake from Mazillion, and I'm here to answer, is the iPhone 13 mini the phone for you? Now, one of the main complaints that people had about the iPhone 12 mini was the battery life. Of course, when you make a phone smaller, you have to make the battery smaller as well, which impacted the 12 mini. However, with the 13 mini, they've upgraded the battery inside, and not just physically, with the software as well. So when I took the 13 mini out to test out its battery, I took it off charge around 7 AM in the morning and then did my usual stuff. Checked Instagram, had a couple of phone calls, listened to a bit of music. However, when I got home about 6 or 7 PM, I had about 40% of battery life left, which was easily enough to get me through the rest of the day. I was actually quite surprised because I had used a lot of battery sucking features on the 13 mini that day, especially the camera use, but I still had enough battery to get me through. So now I can safely say you can have a small phone and have all day battery life. Well done, Apple. Now, of course, you can't really start comparing the 13 mini to its older siblings or even talk about iPhones at all unless you're talking about cameras. So, while the iPhone 12 mini wasn't exactly lacking in the camera department, you were able to get some incredible photos and some fantastic videos. The iPhone 13 mini definitely made some worthwhile upgrades. For example, you've got Smart HDR4, which has been upgraded from Smart HDR3 on the 12 mini. Plus, you've got new stabilization on the camera, which when you're walking or if you're at a concert, your video is going to look a lot less shaky. And as well as that, they upgraded the Dolby Vision HDR video to 4K at 60 FPS, whereas it was 30 FPS last year. But the main couple of additions that I liked on the iPhone 13 mini was the photographic styles and the cinematic mode. Now, the photographic styles is something that I really like. It essentially works like an Instagram filter, but you can see how it's affecting the photo live. So for example, if you're trying to take a bit more of an artsy shot, you don't have to wait until after you've taken the picture to apply the filter. You can see how it's going to influence the picture there and then. Something that I think is incredibly undervalued. As well as that, the new cinematic mode that Apple have added is incredible. Just take a look at how the subjects and the focus looks in these cinematic videos. They look so good. The fact that these are coming out for phone astounds me. And not only that, but the front-facing camera is fantastic as well. It shoots up to 4K at 60 FPS, which is the maximum you can get from any iPhone camera. Of course, while Apple kept the beautiful design of the 12 mini, that lovely iPhone 4-esque aluminium rail that goes around the side and the nice sort of weight in your hands makes this feel like a proper premium phone, even though it's compact. And well, the last main thing you need to know is how fast is the phone? How is it going to be using the iPhone 13 mini on a day-to-day basis? Well, I can confidently say it's never going to slow down on you. As you can see, the iPhone 13 mini opens all of the apps here really quickly. It never slows down. It doesn't really slow down loading web pages or anything like that. The processor inside the iPhone 13 mini is fantastic, and it's going to last you for years and years, as most iPhones do these days. As well as that, you're most likely getting around 7 to 8 years of software support from Apple. They constantly update all of their phones, and phones as old as the iPhone 7 or 8 have only just been dropped off their software support list. There's not really much doubt about it. If you get an iPhone 13 mini, it's going to be as fast as you need it to be for as long as you need it. So, while the iPhone 13 mini is definitely a worthwhile upgrade over the 12 series, if you're coming from one of the older iPhones, for example an iPhone X or an iPhone XS, and you don't want to be going towards the larger screens, which Apple seems to be pushing everyone towards, of course with the 14 series they actually replaced the mini model with the Plus model, then this is definitely a worthwhile upgrade for you. You're not really going to get another phone this compact with this much power. Not only that, but this is likely to be the last mini iPhone that Apple ever make. So if you do want a compact phone that's going to be up to your standards, then the only way to look really is to the refurbished market. And of course, the iPhone 13 mini is around 40% cheaper in the refurbished market at the moment than it was when it launched. But honestly, for such a small phone, I've just got so much to say about this device. It really does put as much power as possible in the palm of your hand. Like, literally. But we haven't answered the question, is the iPhone 13 mini for you? Well, as mentioned earlier, if you want to stick with a compact device, something that's small and still going to be able to fit in your pocket, the 13 mini is absolutely a worthwhile upgrade. Apple really have knocked it out of the park with this one. They have made a small device that gets you all day battery life, has impeccable cameras, and has a processor that's going to last you for years and years and years. Don't get it wrong, this is a smaller phone, but it has absolutely no compromises whatsoever. The fact that the iPhone 13 mini is so well built, so robust, and is built to last for so many years, I don't think that's too much of an issue. Well then, if you do think the iPhone 13 mini is for you, you can head to Mazillion.com to grab yours, plus you can sell your current device as well.